Hey, welcome Raja Ávila to Rahma with Rose. It's an absolute pleasure to have you join me today to speak about your spiritual and healing life journey.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to see what Allah makes in this episode.
Yeah, thank you. So let's go back to the beginning. And I know you have such a fascinating story, and that's why I wanted to interview you. It's very unique. So can you tell me, when do you remember first getting interested in spirituality?
Uh, well, everything started in 2015. At this point, I was living in Brazil. I used to work in a corporate, I used to have a corporate job. And in Brazil, that's where my spiritual journey really started. I was seeking, and I grew up in a Catholic family. And right there, I was always very intrigued by the um I guess, like, you can say, like, invisible, like, like the mysticism of life. I remember since I was a kid. And when I was in Brazil, I found this teacher. She's from the United States, but she was living in Brazil for like many years, like 20 years. And she had this beautiful center outside of the city. I was living in Sao Paulo. And she was teaching yoga, meditation, and how, like this, the emotions affect your body and your chakras. And that's how my spiritual journey really started. I was just really seeking for something, like a deeper connection. And that's when I started, like, meditating. I started practicing yoga. While I was living in Brazil, like, Brazil is very, like, a very diverse country. So I was like going, I I went to Vipassana retreat, the 10 days of silence. I did it there. I also explored, like, different traditions or, like, religions right there, like, that are more coming from the African, like, lineage. And I was just really searching. And for me, she was my teacher at the beginning. And, I'm so grateful because she allowed me to see, like, a big, like, the connection, the spiritual connection, right? Like a bigger picture. I remember going to church when I was little, and I really didn't get much. And I was always questioning many things about the religion, the Catholic religion, right? So when I found her, it was a really way for me to start connecting with my heart, and really kind of like start connecting with that love, this divine love. From there, I just, I remember making the dua at that point when I started my meditation, and they gave me my first initiation, as they call it. Asking Allah to just really help me to find, what do you want me to do? Like, what is my purpose in life? And just right after I did that, like, I was transferred to Brazil because I have a good position in one of these um, big companies, are multinational companies, like a 500, it's part of these big corporations, right? And then you can see how everything, according to human eyes, it was so secure and settled. But I feel like that dua, it was the reason why, like, a couple months later, they happened, a big change in the company happened. And even though I was one of the top talents, I was laid off of the company because my previous boss was laid off, and he was one of the vice presidents. So here I am. Is like, okay, now what? Like, right, this company transferred me to Brazil. I was in this country by myself, like, like, didn't have any family there, and with so many questions, about what do I do now? Do I go back into the corporate world? Like, do I trying to start, like, seeking, like, something that is more holistic and helping people through coaching? Because that's what I was doing. Somehow I was helping the leadership team of this company, and with enablement and training, creating it was organizational development, basically, right? Like, creating a good environment for people. And I remember I was like, okay, for now I'm gonna stay here in Brazil. I finished my courses with this teacher, right? And then we would see what Allah makes. Then I remember that day, one day I was fasting, and I was like, that was like 2015, and I was just having this deep calling in my heart to really help people to find the connection with themselves and with something higher. And at the end of the day, I remember I was fasting because I didn't know what to do. Should I stay here in Brazil trying to find a job? Should I go back to Colombia trying to find a job? Should I go back to Colombia and start my own practice, right? And it was very clear. I saw a video on Facebook where it was talking about what I wanted to do, create that connection, you know, like help people to create that deeper connection with God. And I was like, okay, I guess I know what it is, what I'm supposed to do right now. I went to India, then I decided I went there to study Ayurveda, study, you know, like certified in yoga, learning more about herbs and holistic, like basically healing, right? Because that's what I want to incorporate in my own practice. There I explore like Hinduism. I started exploring a little bit of Sikhism too. I met my former husband right there. Then I came to the US. He was American at that point. I was living in Boston. We started an Ayurvedic holistic practice where I was doing the treatments and using, you know, like the spiritual aspect to it. But it's so interesting is that I always, even, for example, I was in Hinduism for a while. I always pray to one God. For me, always it was like, okay, about one God, you know, about the different deities or, you know, like that they have. Is like, for me, it's just one, right? Like even this one, you're supposed to call for, I don't know, prosperity, and this one for, you know, for other things. I always really believe that it's just one God. And that's what I always, in all the different religions that I kind of like explore, I always found about that. Then I came to the US and I started practicing more like Sikhism. That is interesting because they also believe in one God, right? They use a different book. They don't use the Quran. And they have many different practices that are very similar, right? Like doing something for 40 days. This was more like tied with the type of yoga that I was practicing. I was practicing Kundalini and I became certified instructor. And in that moment, I remember like being that the tool that also helped me to go through my divorce, right? Like this, like, so that's what really helped me. And then I found Islam. And I remember like always in my prayers since the first day that I made that dua, I always ask Allah, you just use me, guide me. What do you want from me, right? What do you want? And when I started learning about Islam, I never thought, to be honest, even to think about like, you know, like becoming Muslim, to be honest. On one side. On the other side, I remember when I was little, I always had this, I don't know, like vision or dream, or it's like, oh, I wish I just, you know, I was born in one of these Middle East countries, you know, like, I don't know why. It was something about that, like somehow it was kind of like connected with my heart, you know, like, but, and here I am, you know, like when I started like learning about Islam and really, for me, make a lot of sense because as I said, I grew up in a Catholic path or religion, and you know, knowing about the prophets and all the different things, it's kind of like a way home somehow. And on the other side, you know, I was very lucky to find, and I'm so grateful that the teachers that, and this was also one of my duas, right? I became Muslim, and that was COVID. And I was like, yeah, Allah, you know, like, please guide me to my teachers, because I have been always someone that like to have a mentor or a teacher, right? Like I just, it has been really, really important for me, right? So when I found, so I made that dua. I remember the first Ramadan, that was COVID. And subhanallah, here I am. I found this this group, right? Like where a lot of people are converts, and where I was able to speak my own language, right? Like I can like, oh, like this thing that I learned about this and other paths, like it didn't feel weird to talk about, right? Because it's people that can relate to me. And at the same time, it just opened my eyes to this amazing, I don't know how I can describe it, maybe no, it's not environment, this amazing concept of Islam. What is really Islam? Right? What is, we have the Sharia, we have, you know, like the Tasawwuf, we have, you know, like the tariqa, all the different practices. And the more that I learned, it seemed that everything is so connected, like the sunnah, like it's just like, is like really, when you start paying attention to all these things, you cannot say that this is kind of like something that it was created randomly, right? It's like everything is so precise, right? Like everything that has like a deeper meaning. So I'm just so fascinated, like how I can see how all Allah just create everything, like tied together, and everything is there. Everything is there. So that's basically in a very short way how I can describe my story.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. It's fascinating that you came from this Catholic family in Colombia to Brazil, where you experienced kind of New Age Hindu Buddhist philosophies and spiritualities, then to India to learn Ayurveda and yoga, and then to the US, where then you found Sufism and Islam. What a
Yeah,
journey, really. Thank you for sharing. It's fascinating to hear how people ended up in similar paths, but in such a different route. So really
yeah,
fascinating. Would you say that, and it sounds like it, that your healing path is very parallel to your spiritual path?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Like before I actually started I guess it started at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
a journey of self-development. It was, I would say, it was very in parallel with my spiritual journey, right? I started taking like coaching certifications, like, and then you have all these questionnaires, right? Like when they ask you about, like, reflect about your weaknesses and blah blah blah, all the different things, right? So like at the same, it was very like it was happening at the same time. And when I started like tasting, I would say like some, like, God in a different way, right? Like there is more like from the heart, like you can feel his presence. um I was, I think that's when I was aware that it was something else that I needed to do, to look in myself, to break patterns, to heal maybe generations from my family, and it has been hand and hand, like it's all connected. I cannot say that that my healing had been happening without God, because this is, even I remember before even I started like getting deeper into the spiritual path, I remember in Colombia, I was going to a therapist, but it was a therapy that she was working with the angels at that point. So it was something in my soul that always was looking for that connection. And I can tell you right now that the healing that has been happening, it has been directly connected with my connection with God. Yeah.
Beautiful. Can you tell me more about your pre-2015 life? It sounds like you went to this therapist who works with angels. I don't know what that means exactly. I'm curious about that. But tell me, growing up in Colombia, I'm sure most of our listeners don't know much about what's the Catholic tradition like? Did you have any spiritual experiences as a young child, or did it really only start at this point in your life?
Well, I grew up, I am the oldest from, like my from, I mean, I have a younger sister and three half brothers. So I grew up going to the church, like especially Eastern, like, and just go there and you just go and repeat all the prayers, very like robotic. But I never had this like fulfilling experience. However, I do remember like they're like in Colombia they have like this group like called like Christians, like they're different than Catholics, and they have like a lot of devotional songs, right? So like you would go to a place, it doesn't have to be a church, and you just like sing and praise God or Jesus at that point, right? And I always remember I really enjoyed that, like it was something that it was more like nourishing. So I would say I went to college, I studied international business. As I said, I feel I'm very focused maybe on the dunya, like if you want, like what is your career? What do you want to do for life? Like, like all these things that, sometimes you think about, what do I want to achieve in this life, right? I would say I was lucky to just, like be gave me an opportunity to taste that environment, you know, like, and even I was a manager too at some point, right? Like a very small taste of all of that for me to see that this is not what I wanted in my life.
Yeah.
Right. I remember, like, since I was little, I always wanted this deeper connection with God. And that's what I was saying. Like, for me, in the Catholic path or religion, I never really understood why you have to go and confess with a priest, right? Like, why I couldn't talk directly to God. For me, that never made sense. And I remember I was telling my mom, you know, like, I don't agree with this. Like, it doesn't make sense for me. So I think this basically how it was. Then talking about the angels, what you were asking me, is I think Colombia, I don't know if other countries in South America, but there's this connection with the angels, with the archangels, right? Like, where you use them as guides too, right? So I remember I started getting into, they will sell like this kind of, like, imagine like tarot cards, but like an oracle, you know, with the different angels, and then you ask questions, and it will be like, oh, the archangel Gabriel or whatever, right? Like, that's what they're trying to say to you. So that was like a very for me, like, a way that I feel is like getting, you know, like more connected, you know, like with God. But that's how basically that started. But as I said, I was very much I had a life that I always say, when people ask me, oh, did you miss maybe drinking, or, you know, like, you know, I was like, I think in my short life, I did plenty of that, you know what I mean? I was that now I don't even miss that anymore, you know, like, it was just, when I think about my life, it feels that I have like 3 lives in this life. It's like, when I think back, and sometimes even when I look my pictures at that time, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that was me, right? And now I'm just even here, even sometimes teaching about Islam, you know, like, and what does Islam really means, right? So it's interesting and funny at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating background that you have, and to have lived these different experiences is really rich. And I think it's beneficial for people to hear your story, because it's not typical to hear going from angel, you know, working with angels and Ayurveda and all of this to different spiritual paths. So I'd love to know, because you are a healer, you said you've trained in Ayurvedic medicine, yoga, and numerous other modalities. I'd love to hear more about these modalities and which one resonate the most, and how you've integrated them into your life.
I will say, from all the different modalities that I have been using in my life, I was in meditation and yoga for a couple years, like very intense, like all in, right? Like, basically that I would do my yoga practice every day, you know, like my meditation or breath work every day. And that helped me a lot, you know. However, and Ayurveda too, you know, like, it's all these holistic type of modalities, right? But when I found Islam and I started studying with Institute of Spiritual Healing of the University of Sufism, that's when it was like a big opening for me. When I was meditating a couple of times, I would have visions or like feelings of like, this is happening, or awareness, clear awareness, you know, oh, this is a pattern that I'm repeating, or like, you know, like, Allah is bringing this bring this to me to work it out or whatever. But it feels that it was the type of the iceberg. When I started practicing Islam, and basically just and this is what I have been studying for since 2020, 3 years, I guess. It really is, I feel Allah takes you very deep. The beautiful thing about this is that He is the healer. I am not the healer, right? You just use certain practices for you to, I mean, as a healer, to make sure that you can be a clear vessel to transmit, or like, like to just guide that person. But at the end of the day, it's not about me doing the work. It's Allah who is doing the work. So like, like, you use different different prayers, surahs from the Quran, or you use the divine name. That's why I'm so passionate about the divine names. Because for me, it was, in a sense, it's like a way, the divine names and my dhikr, I feel like they replace my meditation practice. So for me, this has been really, really like mine, like it has been really explore, like open up like a different perspective for me. Because when I was practicing Ayurveda, like you can give the recommendations and you can give some lifestyle changes and you can give some asanas on all the different things. One of the main challenges that or like the main issues that I found is that people get sick because there is also a emotional component that at the end and manifesting in the body as a symptom of something else, right? Is all this is connected. It's not just, this is, there are no different boxes. So I remember at that point, I was like, okay, I can help this person. I can see, okay, this person has like a vata imbalance, that's just talking in terms of Ayurvedic terms. Okay, I can give her the food. I can give her some yoga asana that can be helpful. I can give some herbs. But if that person doesn't work on a situation, maybe, or a trauma or something that is deeper inside of that person, or the other things will take too much longer, right, to be resolved. And it's like kind of like trying to empty a bucket when it's something that is that you have a hole in the bucket, and the other side you have a pitcher that is filling that bucket with water, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what when that's for me, that's why it was so interesting to know about this, really getting into the emotional piece, what is happening, why this is manifesting in your life. And this is actually happening to me right now too. Every time that I get sick, I ask Allah, okay, what is the deeper meaning? What are you trying to tell me if I am not seeing right now? With this, even, I don't know, I have a sty. What is the meaning of this? Oh, maybe I have been so angry for the last couple of days, or is some anger issue that is happening. Like I truly believe there is always something that I feel like Allah is trying to tell us, right? Allah is, hey, pay attention to this. And sometimes we don't pay attention until we get sick, right? So is that connection? I feel like this is, I can add a couple of things from maybe breath work or other things, like yoga or herbs. But I feel like a big component is the spiritual healing. Is like, what is happening in your heart, right? Like deeper in your heart, that this is manifesting right now.
Can you tell me more about the spiritual healing? Because I think this could be a term that's used very broadly. So in your specific context and based on where you train, what does this look like? What does it entail?
Yeah. So basically they call it with an alignment. And with an alignment means the healer, in this case, for example, myself, I just make sure that I am in alignment with God, with Allah. You do certain practices to purify yourself. You do tawbah. You really imagine yourself bowing to Allah. Like, this is not about me. You guide me, right? So you do an interview for the person, like, okay, I don't know, I'm having this issue, whatever. And then you use dhikr, basically, right? Like, and divine names. So to see what is there. So you can use, for example, al-fatah, right? And then you just really guide the person to tell you, okay, it is something that is happening for you, maybe any visions and images, colors, whatever it is, right? And the person will start like telling you also as a healer, for example, in my case, I tend to sometimes feel like I will have some guidance more like through sensations in my body, and I ask the person, I say, okay, and just having a sense that maybe this is happening, or like this word, right? I might, like whatever comes during the session, and the person say, oh yeah, this is related, or it's not related, or like, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And basically, you as a healer, you just hold the space doing, like dhikr and, prayer, basically, and asking Allah to just help this person to see what he wants from them, right? So so you use the the divine names. Normally you use they call the feeling sense pattern. This is like basically the person would say, okay, this I'm feeling this, feels like a fist in my body. Okay, let's see, maybe as Allah, he can open. What does it mean, that fist, right? So we do Al-Fatah, let's do Al-Fatah together and see what Allah opens, for you. And the person will, I actually tell you. So it's not very much like a very structured process, because you just go with what Allah is showing for that person, right? And you might receive some, like maybe you have some inspirations to tell that person, okay, like maybe recite this divine name, or like read about this, or, like it's very kind of like in a collaboration environment, right? Like where you just basically ask Allah to just come and use you, to just basically ask questions, help this person, like open the vision, the Basir, the Samir, for this person to be able to see. But you as a healer, you are just a vessel. So you need to make sure that is not coming from you, is coming directly from Allah. There are also other practices that you can use that are like, like that you use certain prayers, right? Like, for example, like different surahs, and to help a person to just clear some pictures that they have about a specific scenario. So then the person is saying, oh, now I can see this situation actually mean this. But it really is, it's not something very fixed, right? And this is also what I use a lot of the somatic approach, where it's like, okay, what is your body telling you? Like, it's not about the mind. It's not, I should do this, I know I should do that. No, this is not the space to, oh, I know I have to do this. No, it's like, what is really there? What is really happening? Like, let's honor that, because that's the remedy, right? I guess that's, if you can wanna say, that's the sickness and that's the remedy at the same time. We need to look at those places that maybe sometimes we don't want to look, and you're just inviting Allah to help you. And like, we know when we're in those really places where we feel broken, that's when our close is closer to God. Because we are so needy of him, right? In that moment when we feel like everything is going wrong, that we don't know the reason behind this, and we just like maybe we just feel hopeless, right? And it's like, okay, Allah, just show me what it is. It's not, I'm tired, I don't know what is this all about. But that requires some a big sincerity, and this is actually something that I encourage people to do, because sometimes I feel like for some reason we feel that we need to hide things from Allah, and we don't verbalize, but he knows everything. And he's just waiting for us to verbalize this and asking for his help, because that way he gives us like free will. If we don't ask for his help in this specific scenario, he's not going to come and help us, until we give that permission, until we feel that neededness of him.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, really what you're talking about is the need for presence, for noticing, and the remedy is within us, and with reliance on the divine, really. And it's so simple, yet humans are so good at complicating life, aren't we? Like, we're just excellent at that, and making things harder than they seem. But you really simplify and boil it down to really practical way to approach it. Would you be willing to share maybe one or two challenges you've experienced in your life, and how did you get through them? What tools did you immediately draw upon? What did you do to get through these challenges, whatever they are?
Well, I would say the first one that comes to mind, it was about safety. And I have PTSD from different, like things that happened in my childhood, like physical abuse, sexual abuse, all the different things that I didn't even know that they were stuck in me. Like I was not even aware. And that's what I was saying, like it came up when I started like studying this methodology, or like what type of healing, I guess. Allah just brought all these things into the surface. It was like, no, I couldn't hide from these things anymore. And I think it was also related to my dad passed away when I was 10. And I feel like this, having this lack of like a masculine or like a protective like figure in my life, that led me to just be very independent, right? I can do everything on my own. I don't need anyone. I very type A personality. That's when I was working in a corporate job, because I can do everything, right? I don't need anyone. And that was one thing that it just came up to me. And I did what I remember. I went to this place here in the United States called the Farm of Peace for a Sawi retreat. And it took me 15 days. It took me 15 days to just be there, basically kind of like in silence and with Allah. And I was able to see how much fear, right? Like to even like to open myself to love, it was there. How many layers of protection, I just put in front of me, how many layers I was putting in front of my heart. But at the deepest place in my heart, it was also this longing to be loved. I just didn't know how to. Because I was doing something for many years, right? Like, you need to be strong, you need to be independent, you need to be, like, it was very difficult. So it was like, how I do this, right? And the more that I start like cultivating that relationship with Allah, and feeling that safety and that He has been there, and that means that sometimes going into those places or those moments where I felt, where all these things happening, and being able to see Allah in those moments helped me a lot. Like, okay, this happened for a reason, like this, I can see now the wisdom. It doesn't mean that was not painful, right? Because we are not taking now, it's not like it's one thing or the other, right? But it was just really like, okay, I can see it now. I can see it, Allah. Why this happening this way, right? So I guess this is one of the first thing, like, like start like feeling that safety. And that's actually why at some point I designed a journal where it has, like the different steps of what I was doing. Just ask Allah for forgiveness for whatever you see, like maybe something that I did wrong in the past, right? Like, or I just realized I made a mistake, asking Allah for that forgiveness. And then connecting, what is my heart needing right now? Okay, it needs that safety. Let me use some of these divine names that are going to help me to bring that safety. So is that just using Allah, right, to fill those gaps, right? I didn't feel safe. Okay, let me bring Allah into that picture. It doesn't happen overnight, but we need to be aware of what is the need, right? I feel betrayed. Okay, let me see what is the divine name that can help me to just feel that I was, like that can fill that gap. So I will say this is one of the times. The second one.
Can I stop you for 1 second, Raja? I would love to ask you, because for me, learning to find safety within has been one of the key components for my healing journey. Can you describe to me, how do you know when you're safe? What does safety feel like to you? I'm curious. This is important for other people to hear this as well.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I know is like, I need to make sure that I'm in my body, that I didn't leave my body, right? Because I think from people that has been in situations or with PTSD, or we tend to leave our body, right? Like we shut down, or, like however.
Disassociate, yeah.
So it's like, okay, let me be in my body, right? Like how I do that with the breathing, right? If I am like very anxious and like maybe I'm having a panic attack, just for the sake of example, I am not in my body, right? I'm just like with my emotions and I'm not thinking clearly, right? So like the first thing is like make sure that I am in my body, right? Something also that I found very useful is when you are in that moment, make sure that you move, like physically move, like walking, not just be in one place, just sitting, or even, because there's this, what is the name? It's a neuroscientist that he talks about this, like how people with trauma, when you start like actually walking or moving or in a bicycle, that help them to just feel there is hope, is like moving forward. Something happened with the eyes. I don't remember exactly. So, okay, this is okay. So it's like a reality check. Okay, I'm in my body. Okay, is this situation is really dangerous, right? Or is an association of something that happened in the past. So like this reality check, is this really mean that this person is really gonna do something really bad, right? Because for me, I did notice that I might be reacting to something, but it's not the situation that is happening right now. It's just the response that I'm having from something that happened in the past, right? So I do that, and it's also asking myself, like, is this real, right? And sometimes that's what I feel like it goes with this. It's like honoring what are you feeling, but at the same time challenging what are you feeling. Like, is this really real, right? Is this really means that this person is gonna, I don't know, I am in danger of my life, right? Or is just a reaction, right? So when I feel that, it's like, okay, what do I need right now? That's the other step. What is the need, right? Like, oh, maybe I need to be heard. I need to express myself, but maybe I just get very upset because I don't know how to do it, and just I start like screaming and blah blah blah, right? So it's like, okay, what is the need? Okay, this is what I need right now. And of course, you need to make sure that the person that you are dealing with, or the scenario you're dealing with, as I said, is not something that you feel like, okay, they're gonna hurt me, like physically. And also, I feel if you're talking in a relationship, it goes back and forth of creating a safety connection between both of you. So that for this thing, and there are two big components. The first thing is being able to be vulnerable, and at the same time being able to be to have self-responsibility, both ways, right? So that means if I'm making a mistake, or I made a mistake, or I overreacted, right? Because I was just reacting as a response of my own trauma, I would say, sorry, I know I overreacted, right? I made a mistake. However, so this is how I'm feeling, and this makes me feel like this. I will appreciate, for example, I know this is my trigger. I know this, you take responsibility, right? I know this is my trigger. You don't have to resolve it, but you can help me maybe doing this. In the meantime, I will continue working in that. And for me, in the way that this has been very helpful is dhikr. It's like, okay, Allah, I just noticed this is the response of what I respond for whatever happened like many years ago. What I needed at that point, I needed to feel safe. I needed to be loved. So let me call al-Wadud. Let me call, like Hafiz, like, what is the divine name? And just do that dhikr over and over, until it happens. Allah grants the healing. I experienced this in my life. Then you just suddenly start feeling, oh, you know what? I just feel, like more safe, like, so I think this is a big component. And also, sometimes for you to notice where is they call the mujahada, right?
Mujahid.
Like this battle, right? That when we is like, okay, I'm afraid, right? Like this moment, like for example, and this happened to me once. I remember
Like jihad and nafs, like struggle of the self, you mean? Yeah.
Yes. So I remember that time I was like working on the safety issue for so long. And I'm still like working on it, it's, like it's not 100% like gone, right? Just to be honest. But I remember this time I was like, okay, Allah, it was this conversation happening in this room. And I was outside the room, and I knew Allah was asking me to go inside of that room. I was sweating. I was like, I don't want to go into this room. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know, but I know I need to step into this room. And I was like, yeah, Allah, I know you are not leaving me alone. I know that you are my protector. I'm going to step into this room because I know you are asking me this. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Right? And basically just imagine that you are like saying to Allah, you just please catch me, you know, like I don't know what's going to happen. And I just went into that room and it was an opportunity for a beautiful healing, you know. So I feel like for me, if you can just put it in one word, it's really having that reliance on Allah for safety and not in yourself.
Tawakkul, yeah, so beautiful. Complete
And
dependence on the divine.
because I feel like is so much you can do, right? And to protect yourself, right? But lies beyond that, right? So is really about like, okay, Allah, I'm just asking, I'm calling upon you to be my protector. And even if you, I don't, you know, like even if you're in a situation that you don't feel safe, it's gonna help you to see, you know, it's gonna take you out of the situation, or it's gonna help you to actually realizing that maybe you are not in danger, right? And it's just a reaction of your own trauma. So but for me has been just that has been the key, just being honest, you know, with myself, like, okay, I'm overreacting or overreacting, if this is a response from my trauma, is not, and always calling upon Allah to just help me to see the truth.
Yeah, this is really profound, Raja, because a lot of us might have read and been exposed to mainstream discussion of trauma, healing, and finding safety, but the added dimension that is useful for Muslims to hear of how do you bring in the Islamic wisdom, spiritual wisdom within Islam that has healing powers within it. So kind of combining the two approaches, both the spiritual tradition and the Western knowledge and experiences, is really beautiful to wed them together. That's essentially what you're describing, and what a beautiful approach that is. I think be very helpful for other people to learn about this method, and there's a lot of healing in it, it sounds like.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, as I said, and this is actually my intention, and even before I came, you know, here to talk to you, I was like, ya Allah, just help me to transmit what you think is going to be more beneficial for your ummah right now, right? And I know safety, as you mentioned, is a big topic. And from my experience, I feel like, and from what I, you know, heard with other women when I was working with women, there is this difficulty of seeing Allah as merciful, you know, like, oh, Allah maybe is more like a fear-based stuff for Allah. And that's a veil that maybe we have that doesn't help us to connect deeper or ask for that help, right? To ask for Allah in those moments that end up being on self-reliance. Oh, I need to do it myself, right? Because it's so much shame or it's so much fear about connecting with Allah that I cannot bring Allah into the picture, right? But He already knows. So it really start like changing those also beliefs that we have about our relationship with Allah. Of course, there is a space where there are certain boundaries that Allah set up for us, that is that you don't do these things, right? And we sometimes even we don't even need to from my point of view, is like, okay, if you're telling me to do this, you know better than me why, right? Okay, I'm just gonna trust, you know, like not even gonna question, right? That's more like the chariot, right? At the same time, it requires like a a deeper trust and deeper surrendering to knowing, like bowing to Him and say, you know, I don't know, you know, and I cannot figure this out on my own. And your healer, your therapist, whoever He shows you when you made that sincere dua, is going to be the right person. It's going to be the right person.
Yeah, no, I think this is why I so resonate with your work, and I really appreciate connecting with you, because having this love, compassion-based approach to Islam, to knowing the divine, is unfortunately not common enough, right? And that's why I just love your teachings and what you have to offer. One of the final things I wanted to ask you about and to hear and to let the listeners hear about is I was really touched by your work with women specifically. I know you're on hiatus right now because you have an infant who
Mhm.
you're preoccupied with, but usually you're often working and building communities of healing for women, which is very similar to what I do, which is how we connected. I'd love to hear more about what is it you do with women? I know you talk about a lot about the feminine and this compassionate approach to Islam. So please tell me more about that. I think it's very important for women to hear different perspectives and approaches
Mm.
to understanding, reconnecting with our feminine.
Yeah. So I help women to connect with the fitra. That's how I, their essence. And also showing and teach, like showing and teaching them about the beauty of being a woman that is already in us. It comes effortless, but unfortunately, with society, it feels that has been changed, where society is asking us to be more in our masculine, and that's what society value. And it's like, oh, being astaghfirullah, being a woman is not, you don't have anything to offer, right?
Mhm.
Like being compassionate, right? Is not being, for example, if you decide to be at your house and just taking care of your children and just, like there's no value in that. If
Mhm.
you're not making money, if you don't have to say all these degrees, like society has been telling us that, and we are bombarded by this, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of women, they feel like, oh, I'm not worth it because I don't have a degree. I'm not worth it if I don't do it, producing, right? Like this is the capitalism, right? The
Mhm.
mentality. So, however, like we have so many beautiful things. And this is what I tell women multiple times. If you think about creation, right? Allah made men and women, but Allah gave us a womb. The womb is the only place from where creation can manifest into this dunya.
Mhm.
And I just having chills right now. Can you think about this for a moment? Allah give us this trust as women to embody his creation. And if you, for example, you're not even able to have maybe kids, it's not just bringing life like a human being, is what you can bring from that, is from that place of being creative.
Mhm.
Because women has this is, like our womb is our place of creativity, right? And that's a beautiful thing. Why he didn't give it to men? So I want people to think about this for a moment.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of conversations that are happening in the Muslim communities about, oh my God, I cannot pray, like I feel, and it's it's like something really bad because I am in my cycle. No, it's like, and again, this is something that has been like, I feel like society has been just making like something shameful when it's not. Actually, there is a wisdom in that. And there's a big conversation, but when you think about the different cycles that you go through, like in each menstrual cycle and the hormones that change, um, there is a profound, actually, in the moment that when you have your cycle and your menstruation, for example, it's a beautiful moment where you are very connected and aligned, intuitive with Allah,
Mhm.
because you are in this place of kind of like this cocoon, right? Like you are like hibernating. So, and he gave us this chance too. What happened, I feel, is like society is so busy right now, and it's not the society is not telling us about these things enough, that we feel that we need to be more like a man to be valued in this world. And this is coming from a place where I was in that situation. So that's what gave me the inspiration to start like teaching women about what is the beauty of being a woman.
Mhm.
Like, what is the beauty of also being in a relationship that inshallah you will find out also a great partner, that you can be in this divine um, communion, where there is the masculine and the feminine, like flowing, right? It's a complement. And I feel this is what's happening. Like as women, we are bombarded with this idea that we have to have all the different hats, right? You have to be a great professional. You have to also be a mom, but you have to do all the different things. And we're not taking anything out of our plate. And that's why we are like feeling so overwhelmed and burnt out, right? So it requires from, I can tell from my own experience, like the more that I have been able to connect with my feminine, to be soft instead of being tough, to be gentle in bed instead of being strong. It has been in so much profound in my own life, and I can see it now in my kids. And I remember someone, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think someone once said to me, there is a hadith or something that say that or something like that, it requires more effort to be tough than to be gentle. Something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's so true. Like for you to be gentle in this society, it requires more effort. To be tough, that's what society is telling us. You need to be strong, you need to do this, like you need to put all your guards, right? So a woman cannot relax.
Yeah.
And even when you think about our physical body, right? And the man, like the man's body, like a woman needs to be able to receive that masculine presence in their life. In any, like when we're even just thinking about your physical body, we're designed to receive that masculine in our lives. There is, on the other side, there is a piece that needs to be acknowledged, and it's all maybe the abuse and things that has been happening for many years. And it's acknowledging that, and at the same time, like healing that. And when I say healing that, it means forgiving someone or forgiving something. It doesn't mean that what happened was right. But you just realize that this is not serving us anymore, right? And you don't want to keep repeating those patterns. Or if you have children, my children has been something that have been really giving me the inspiration, like for me to kind of like work on those patterns that I see from my family, and I can see it from my lineage. It's like, oh my God, this is happening. The same thing is happening here. I need to cut this so they can have a better life. So women, if we think about this, we have so much stuff, like we have so much power, right, in us. We can change the generations that are coming forward. It's not easy to do the work. It's not easy by any means. And it's hard. That's why we need community of women. We need community. We need support. We need, healers. We need, like all is like different people in your circle that are going to support you, because you are not meant to do this alone. Previous times, you used to live in a community where you have this group of women. We don't have that anymore. We are living in so many different places, in cities. We don't have that anymore. So my intention is, like when I was teaching about this, connecting with your feminine, is to really just, inshallah, for you to live in a sacred union, in a maybe, and even if you are not in a relationship, it's like when you just come home, that you have access to that piece where you can relax, where you can enjoy, where you just can be, where you can be in your heart, that you don't have to be all the time in your mind just thinking, okay, what is next, right? Because that's the more like the masculine traits. Allah lives in the moment. Allah lives in the heart. And even when you make dua, that's a feminine quality, right? Like it's like this pure devotion, pure like surrendering, right? When it's coming from here, from the heart. And I feel like women, we need more of that, and men too. Like we have like this presence of the masculine and feminine traits, in each of us. But for women, I specifically work with women because it's easier for us, like to access to these qualities. And at the same time, I see how society is not in favor of us, and it's actually shaming us, like in those gifts that are natural for a woman. are somehow is forcing us to be more like men, when we don't have to be like men, you know what I mean? It's a perfect creation. That's why Allah make men and women, right? That's why he said, like, this ayah in the Quran where it says that he created men and women to just to live in compassion with one another, because it's a complement, right? That means both need to do the work. And as I said, like, and that's what I feel in any relationship is like, if we want a relationship to work, it's like, okay, and what is my piece? And it's like, okay, you are showing me this about myself. Like, I take responsibility. I work on this. We work together, right, to create this harmony.
Yeah, thank you, Raja. That's very helpful. And I think especially because sometimes when people hear the discussion about feminine, masculine, they might think, and women who are professional might think, oh, you mean I have to stay at home? And that's not what you're saying at all. And I think the way you put it is really makes sense. It doesn't matter if you work outside the home or don't. I think any woman can really find more softness in her life. She can do what she needs to do to make a living and support her family. But at the end of the day, she can also remember to stop and smell the roses and to pause and to be present more, right? And this is very close to feminine. Well,
one thing that I wanted to mention to that point is like a woman that is connecting with their feminine, she knows when she needs to stop and recharge.
Yeah.
So she can get out, she can go out to the world and then offer what she needs to offer too.
Yeah. She knows herself. She knows herself. Yeah.
And that's the hadith, right?
Yeah. She who knows herself knows her God, as I changed the pronouns for that. For that. It's maybe not an actual hadith, but it's often attributed as a hadith. Yeah.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, Raja, this has been a really moving conversation. In fact, it's so moving that I've been feeling it within my body. As you've spoken, I've noticed different sensations come up in my body. I'm curious, what have you noticed? What sensations have come up for you during our conversation?
I just feel like there is an urgency, I guess. That's what is coming up of sharing about this more and more, because I feel like we need to talk more about these topics. And at the same time, is some excitement to be here. And I'm just trying kind of like how I can make it this very precise or concise that also like can have some depth at the same time, if that makes sense. But I feel is something that definitely as women we need to talk more about this. How does it look in our lives? Where are we disconnecting from our bodies? Where are we rejecting our feminine? How this is impacting our children? How this, if you're married, how this is impacting your marriage? What is the fear behind of connecting with your feminine? What is the fear to connecting with the true essence, with the fitra that Allah gave you? And working on those fears at the end of the day, right? And working with Allah, right? Asking Allah for His help to help you to heal those places. So
thank you. You answered the question I was just about to ask. You just foreshadowed. I was just going to ask if you can leave with a piece of wisdom. I think you just gave us. Would you say this beautiful piece of wisdom that listeners can sit with and process as they complete this podcast? Would you say that?
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. As I said, my invitation for us is just to, or for anyone that is listening to this, is just really just the what is coming up for me is the Rumi quote where the light comes in, where the crack. What is it? How exactly it is? Like the light
dear, you're putting me on the spot. Yes.
Well, okay.
Where the light comes in through the crack is where the healing is, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And this is what it is, like this is the opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you have children, maybe use them as an inspiration. If you want to see a better world, just imagine you are forming this new generation. It's mostly in your hands, what you can give them. And when someone in the lineage heal something, if you heal something, you will help to heal the generations forward and the generations behind. And you have that ability right now. And find your tribe. Find your tribe. Find your women that are uplifting you, that are able to hold you, but at the same time telling you the truth when you need to be called out. I feel like, like that someone can be someone that you deeply trust, that like, okay, if this person is telling me, okay, you need to think about this, is not telling me because she wants or he wants to attack me, whoever it is. But just really if you are afraid to be vulnerable, start being vulnerable with Allah.
Yeah, start being vulnerable with Allah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
profound. Thank you. Raja, before this meeting or before our conversation, I had told you, I was like running around doing a million different things, and my mind was in many places, and I was definitely in my masculine. And throughout the course of this conversation, I've come back to myself and my presence, and you've been able to remind me to come back to the now and to my feminine. And just being in this conversation has reminded me. And I think it also can do the same for other listeners. So with much gratitude, thank you so much for this enriching conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. And, as you mentioned, I am kind of like in a break. I'm not, but if it's anything, like people would like to know more about this, or, they can reach out to me. I guess mostly my emails. Even my Instagram, I haven't posted for a while because I am in that phase that I just want to be present, fully with my kids. But I would be happy, like maybe at some point soon I would be doing something like maybe online, but I cannot promise anything.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Staying your feminine.
yes, flowing. That's the
Wonderful. Well,
flowing.
I will include your email in the show notes, so if people are interested in reaching out to you, they can still reach you by email, the slow way, and it's the beautiful way too. So
Yeah.
many blessings, and thank you so much.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.